You have to get your hair wet and you have to get in the pool every single day.
Yes. Rule number 2 for the girls' trip is that there is always a happy hour.
And a happy ending.
Rule number 3 for the girls' trip
Excuse
is
me?
that you always have to remember to wear underwear with your dress.
Rule number 4, free the nip.
Rule number 5, there's always a vibe check. We all have to check in with each other at the beginning of the night to make sure we're all on the same category of outfit.
Yeah, coordination.
I had the most awkward situation on a girls' trip where I'm the only married girl in my group of friends. I ended up rooming with somebody that was single. And at the end of a fun night, she wanted to bring someone back. Now I'm in my room and I'm like, there's 2 guys in my room, like drinking and still hanging out. It was a guy and his friend. Yeah.
Oh, so that was supposed to be for you.
No, and that's the point. Now I'm in my room on the phone, like, there's dudes in the room. Like, I feel mad uncomfortable. Like, I think I have to be wiser because maybe that wasn't the trip I should have.
You know, I'm going to say this, and maybe I'm tripping, but your husband does have a little bit of money. That man, I would venture to say, he be making pretty good songs. Israel Houghton is not a slouch when it comes to singing gospel music. So I think that you could probably get you another room and you don't have to room with people like that. But again, modern women with a modern mindset is going to be making bad decisions for whatever reason. I don't know. They're going to put themselves in positions knowing they understand how to get out of them and going to stay in them. All right.
Been on.
She realized she shouldn't be on that trip when she had 2 men in her room, and her friend was about to make her cheeks start clapping. Bravo for the late realization, but it's not entirely her fault. It's the fault of the man who allows his woman to go on a girl's trip with her single friends. If you're surprised something went wrong, it's because you didn't understand the basic rules of these trips. Let's be clear. A girl's trip always includes 3 foolproof ingredients: a fun environment, the mentality of looking for a good time, and plenty of alcohol. Now add an attractive man, the thrill of adventure, and a little chaos, and you've got the perfect recipe for things to spiral out of control.
Yep.
Brother, if you think nothing could happen, you're playing with fire. It's not paranoia, it's common sense.
Girls cheat. Girls trips, for example, crime one. I can't tell you how many times a girl has cheated on her girls trip with me. Miami, you guys see I'm going to Miami a lot. These girls go on girls trip in Miami and they cheat. I don't care what you say. I don't care what your girl tells you. Quick story time. I was in Miami. This girl cheated on her boyfriend with me. I came back. I saw her Instagram, found it, and she was posting pictures with her boyfriend. And then she ended up blocking me because she didn't want me to see that. The point is, I've learned that girls are definitely cheaters and they're opportunists under certain circumstances, and especially with the right guy. And I just so happen to be that right guy a lot of times. So keep that in mind. Take that information however you want. But if your girl is going to Miami and I'm there, chances are you might want to reschedule the trip.
Not rescheduling nothing.
Funny, 'cause it's true.
This is a classic chat. He makes it clear on his YouTube channel. If he finds your girl in Miami and she's willing, he's not going to forgive her.
Not rescheduling anything. You're going to go out there and you're going to act stupid, and you won't receive the consequences of your stupid actions.
As the saying goes, the only one who forgives is Christ, and he died on the cross.
Dang.
Brother, this guy isn't here to teach you morality. He's here to warn you that if your girl is in fun mode on a girl's trip, chances are something is going to happen. As I've already said, a girl's trip always includes 3 foolproof ingredients: a fun environment, the mindset of looking for a good time, and plenty of alcohol. That combination, paired with the right man, is the perfect recipe for disaster. And this Chad doesn't sugarcoat it. Women are unfaithful under the right circumstances, especially if they meet the right guy. And if you don't believe me, just watch the next story about the husband who showed up unannounced on his wife's trip and discovered something he surely wasn't expecting. Brother, this isn't paranoia, it's reality. Take care of what you have, or Miami will do it for you.
This is my life. You got girl, you telling me lies about what she is. Yeah, you make me so I be your friend in my life. What? What is it?
And she's sitting back. She's sitting back. Like, it's just another day at the office. I'm not alarmed. I'm not worried about what's going on. I'm not even on the edge of my seat. I should be here. I ain't done nothing wrong. Modern women.
What have you got? What have you got to say for yourself? What? You have to say for yourself. What do you have to say for yourself? Explain yourself. Begin? Oh no. No. Why do you get that? Telling your kids life, what are you telling your life, where you're at?
Thank you.
Explain yourself. No, you stay. Pick up, man. It's not so she ever done my life. I'm not gonna sit there.
Do married women go on girls trips? No, we do not. No, we do not. No, we do not. We don't go on girls trips. We don't do that. We married. We don't go on girls trips. What we looking for? Who we checking for? What? Go and spend time with our friends? No, thank you. We can spend time right here in the city.
Yep.
Where you want to go? Olive Garden, Red Lobster. Where we going? Brunch, Target, Walmart. You pick. Out the country, no. My husband cracked.
So like that option B.
That man surely saw the signs before catching her. Her insistence on girls' trips and her evasive attitude. That's why he decided to show up. Deep down, he already knew what he was going to find. Brother, if she's so eager to travel, why doesn't she do it with you? The issue here isn't the guy she's with. The problem is your woman. Fighting the other man solves nothing. If I were in your shoes, I'd have just taken a picture, kept the evidence, and let my lawyer handle the rest. Married women shouldn't be going on girls' trips if they have a husband at home. If they truly want to hang out with their friends, there are thousands of places in town to do so. But no, nowadays they want the ring and the big wedding, yet live like single women within the marriage. Then we hear complaints about how there are no good men or family-oriented guys left. Well, with behavior like this, what man would want to get married and put up with this kind of nonsense? Brother, mutual respect is the foundation, and if it's not there, it's time to rethink everything.
Get ready with me while I tell you a story about a time I cheated on my boyfriend and don't regret it. Now, I would like to preface this by saying I do not condone cheating. It's not healthy. It's not good. But I try to find, the light at the end of the tunnel in every situation. And let's just say the situation brought me back to life and made me wake up and realize that I was not happy. Now, to start this off, you should know that I was in a very, very toxic relationship for about 3.5, 4 years, and things weren't going very well. Now, where the issue started is my ex and I were preparing for Valentine's Day. And right around the time of Valentine's Day, he decides that he is going to go on a boys' trip to Scottsdale, which I was fine with. I didn't mind when he went out of town. But he lets me know the dates on it, and I start laughing. I was like, excuse me? I was like, that's over Valentine's Day. It was like, it fell over a whole weekend, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we have plans for Valentine's Day. We had reservations to a really nice restaurant, and he was just making adverse plans to go off with boys on a boys' trip on Valentine's Day. Now, this man was slick. So what he did was he had remembered that my girlfriends had talked about going on a trip to Mexico when we had been all hanging out a few weeks ago. And he's like, oh my God, you go on a girl's trip, I'll go on a guy's trip. And in return, I'll pay for your plane ticket for you to go. And I was like, but I don't know, kind of a trip, with my girlfriends seemed like a good idea. So I agreed. Now, as I'm taking off to go to Mexico, I realize this man has only bought me an economy seat. And that's fine, don't get me wrong. But if you are a man and you mess up Valentine's Day to go on a boys' trip and you're sending your girl off somewhere else, at least get her a Delta Comfort seat. But I was, in the back in economy and it was fine. So I take off, heading off to Mexico with my girlfriends. And
So basically, you still went on the girls' trip. You were talking about him not going on this trip for Valentine's Day, and you still went on your trip. And then you wanted an upgrade seat so you can be bought. Got it.
We get to Mexico, hanging out, having a great time, and all of a sudden I see this guy's Instagram story that looks just like where I'm at. And it was a guy who I had met in Atlanta, out and about, but he had moved to a different state. And so we kind of kept in touch with each other, but just as friends. I met him when he had a girlfriend. He met me whenever I had a boyfriend.
If you met a random guy, he's not a classmate, he's not somebody that goes to your church, not a coworker, why are you keeping in touch with a dude that you met in some other location? That seems kind of weird to me.
So the second that I see that we are literally in the same place, same location, I reach out and I was like, hey, we should all get together, because everyone knew each other who was associated with this group. And let me tell you, this man, beautiful. Probably the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'll just go ahead and have to say we're going to need a part 2 because I need to continue, and I'm getting hot thinking about how cute this guy is.
Oh, hell no!
Here we have the typical attempt to justify infidelity under the premise of he did it first. She starts with the classic narrative, my relationship was toxic, followed by my partner was bad, and then downplays what she did as if it were just a reaction to his actions. Of course, she tries to position herself as the victim who was simply searching for happiness. But let's focus on the interesting details. There was a guy she met in Atlanta, someone she kept in touch with. That friend was her plan B, the guy who was always in the friend zone, patiently waiting for his turn.
Yep.
It's no coincidence that the perfect moment to act happened when both were single in the same place, with all barriers removed.
I don't even think she was single at that point in time, to be honest with you. I can't even remember her saying that. I saw he was in this location. We about to get it. We about to hit it up. You cheated. Number one. Number two, this man bought you a plane ticket. This man bought you a plane ticket out there, and you got out there and acted a fool.
The attraction had already been there. It just needed the right conditions to reignite. She claims it was a coincidence, but we all know that when there's a plan B in the picture, there's no such thing as an accident. Brother, this is a reminder. Those friends are often not just friends. They're backup plans waiting for their opportunity. But let's continue.
This is part 2 of me telling you about the time I cheated on my boyfriend and don't regret it. So I reach out to the guy and we make plans to all get together that night. He had a big group, I had a big group, and so we all decided to get together. Now, one thing I will say about specifically Tulum, Mexico, is it's super romantic.
I just wonder what they think is going to come out of this when somebody sees this TikTok.
But it's also big time party atmosphere. It is one of the most beautiful places, but it's definitely like a man-made put together place. It's meant to be romantic.
So basically, once again, we see modern women putting themselves in the wrong positions and wondering why the things happen to them that happen to them.
So I would like to really preface that. So we get to what is like the biggest, I guess, club, bar there, whatever you want to call it. And his group of friends, my group of girlfriends are all, kind of hanging out. Turns out he was there for a company trip. But nonetheless, we were having a great time. And about that time, everyone kind of starts tapering off towards the end of the night. He looks at me and he's like, let's go to the upstairs little quiet place. And I was like, I tried to go up there earlier. Definitely can't go up there. This is just like a little private area. And he's like, we'll go. Let's go. Now, before we get to the good part, I'm going to give you a little bit of detail about the relationship that I was in. Because once we get up to this private area, that's whenever it got spicy. My ex and I were in a situation where he had cheated and I was having a really, really hard time wanting to touch him again or, wanting to be intimate, or even when we were in bed together at night, there wasn't a lot of touching because he had cheated, and every time he touched me, that's all I could think about.
Why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you say, you shouldn't have done that? Period. But now, I don't get it. Once again, what do you think is going to come out of this? He cheated on you. You didn't like it. You don't want to be with. Well, I tried to forgive it. No, you didn't like it. You weren't able to get over it. Get out of there. But these modern women, for some reason, they continue to be in relationships that they don't want to be in, and then they come on here and say, well, I did it too, and I can justify why I did it. When he did it, he was a dog, and I'm repulsed by him. But now I'm going to go out there and do it because I've been holding this one in my back pocket.
And so that made him start being less romantic. That made him start trying less. Stop trying less. And so it wasn't good. We were not in a good place. And so back to the private area, my ex was not the most showy guy. He was not someone who was going to walk up to a door guy and just get you in. Never did that. So we started hanging out in this little private area, and we are taking tequila shots that are neat pours, may I add. You weren't getting shots there. They were pours, and we were downing them. Now, so to keep going back on this place was super romantic, and I had been dating someone who was no longer super romantic towards me. He would do nice things here and there when he wanted something, but that was really about it. And so I was in a super romantic place with this guy. We were having great conversation. He was asking me all these questions about myself, and I fell for it. And so he asked me, hey, my company has the entire resort across the road, hotel, whatever you want to call it, rented out. We can go do whatever we want there. He's like, let's go swimming. And I was like, you can't go night swimming. He's like, yes, you can. Again, this guy was making things happen. We're going to have to go to part 3. Sorry, this is a juicy story.
I'm impressed by how little impresses these women. Oh, we can go swimming at night? Why don't we do that? Oh, we can go to a private area that pretty much anybody can get into? Oh, why don't we go do that? Oh, we can go drink tequila at night? Oh, I'm a grown up. Oh, wow. This is just the best, man. I'm having a great time. Ignorant.
Here we have the classic woman trying to justify her infidelity with the typical, he did it first, so I had the right. Her story is full of excuses and carefully placed details designed to paint herself as the victim who simply fell into a romantic moment during a trip. Of course, her ex-husband is described as the typical beta provider, a man who gave her financial stability but, according to her, didn't know how to ignite the spark in bed. The man on the trip, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. This guy understands the game. He uses seduction, takes the lead, and creates the masculine polarity she craves. As she puts it herself, this guy was making things happen. In a romantic setting, with tequila in the mix, and far from the pressures of her husband. It's the perfect combination to justify her fling.
Yeah, man, and these men don't got to deal with you when you get back home either. They don't got to deal with all your problems and your insecurities and the things that you got going on either. They don't got to listen to you yap on about stuff that don't matter. Get tired of listening to you because you've been talking all day about nothing. You're not cooperating. You don't want to listen. You don't want to do any of that. They ain't got to listen to all that. All they got to do is give you a shot of tequila, take you swimming, and now you're ready to take your clothes off and get down with them.
Brother, this isn't just a dangerous cocktail. It's a recipe for emotional disaster. And the worst part is, she tells the story without a shred of regret.
Exactly.
As if betrayal were a simple response to her discontent. But let's see how the story ends.
So this is part 3 of the Get Ready With Me while I tell you a story about the time I cheated on my ex and don't regret it. So again, this man is making things happen. We go over to his resort, but my resort was along the way. And I was like, hey, I need to get a swimsuit. And he's like, no, you don't. And if you're my dad, please stop watching. I know you're watching this. Please stop, because you're not going to like the rest of this. Anyways, we get to his pool, and there's like a grotto situation, and it was really, really pretty, and it was really, really cold. So we hop in and
instead of keeping their morals and just leaving a part of the story out, they'd rather just tell all the details and say, Daddy, stop watching. You think your dad's proud of this? My God. Just, they don't know when to shut up.
Out just about as fast as we got in because it was freezing. I won't go into full detail about the rest of the trip, but we ended up spending the rest of the trip together. While I was there, I also ended up finding out that my ex, while he was in Scottsdale, was literally sitting with paid-for girls at a nightclub. Great. With all of that being said, I had one of the most romantic trips with someone. I had a blast and a great time getting to know somebody, and actually...
It wasn't romantic. He didn't really even give you flowers, it doesn't sound like.
realizing that I deserved way more than what I was getting in my current relationship. I finally realized that even though I had been in this relationship for all this period of time, I still deserved the spark. I still deserved the romance and the touching and the kissing and all of the above. I realized I deserved those things, and it pulled me out of a rut. And I know everyone has heard the High Infidelity song by Taylor Swift. You know, do you really want to know what I was doing April 29th? Do you really know how he brought me back to life? However it goes. When I say that this man pulled me out of a rut of a relationship where I thought that I was just going to settle for the bare minimum in a relationship, this man wasn't even prepared to spend Valentine's Day with me. He didn't go above and beyond whenever it came down to the little things in life, and it ended up transpiring into me cheating. Now, I will say whenever I got back to Atlanta, I was pretty quick to tell my boyfriend what had happened. It took me a little bit of time. He knew I was acting funny, but I finally popped off one day and just was like, I deserve better than this. I want more than this. I figured out what I wanted, and it's just not this. Now, this kind of gave this man a wake-up call, and he was like, no, I'm not losing you. He wanted to try and make things work, and I just realized I was not happy, and there was no way that anything he could do would make it work. We even started trying to build a house together.
Why?
And I still was not happy. I realized that there was something else out there that I wanted, and ended up going and seeing this guy in the different state that he had moved to, and realizing I was really, really missing something in the relationship. And
so what's happening with this guy that you had a romantic time with in Mexico? You guys must be engaged. You guys must be in a relationship. What's going on with that?
So do I, think I handled things properly? No, but I don't regret what I did because I'm happy now and I know what I want.
In short, cheating on your husband empowered you. It showed you what you deserved, what you were worth, that you shouldn't settle for the bare minimum, that you're a strong, independent woman who deserves more. That romantic trip, where you spent the whole time cheating on your husband with another man, made it all clear to you. The ways of God are indeed mysterious, brothers. Nowadays, even cheating can become a journey of revelation for a modern woman.
This woman's a clown from start to finish, A to Z. The man cheated on you. You didn't like that. Maybe you say, okay, I'm going to try to forgive him. It didn't work out. Go somewhere, do something else. You did all that only to go to Mexico and then find a guy, link up with him, and make the same exact decision. It's like one of these clips where the woman was like, I was with a man and he cheated on me. And then I got him back and I cheated on him too. And then she took a step back and realized that it wasn't a flex. And she was like, wait a minute. Now I can't say that I haven't done the same thing. Now I can't say that I haven't cheated on somebody because I have. And it sucks because I didn't have to do that. I could have just broken up with him and gone on about my merry way. Now I'm basically, in so many words, just as much of a dog as he is. You're not any better than this man. And now daddy's little girl is looking like an idiot for the whole world to see. But of course, there's plenty of modern women in the comments talking about how great you are and how brave and courageous you are for making such a dumb and irresponsible decision. You don't know if that man would have, out in the middle of Mexico, took you somewhere you would have never returned. You don't know that. Oh, I've got this retreat. My company's renting it out. Why don't you come with me? You ain't gonna need a swimsuit. You can do this and you can do that. You ain't gonna need all that. And y'all just down on drinks, and that's all it takes. But okay, I mean, you got it all figured out. You want to be romantic and you want to be in love and you want to make more stupid decisions. More power to you. But that's just my opinion. Until the next video, I'm out.